Hey everybody, my name is Rob Cox. I'm the Director of Winemaking for Paradise Springs. We're shooting this video to welcome you to our new Flight Winemaker series. It's something new for you guys that visit Paradise Springs. Instead of maybe waiting for a tasting, you can take away a flight of 6 of our wines. That will change, depending on availability and throughout the seasons. So if you come back from time to time, the flight will be different from wine to wine. We're going to start the first wine with our 2018 Chardonnay. And take time. We're gonna spend some time, give it a swirl, give it a sniff, so you can appreciate the bouquet. For example, in this Chardonnay, I'm definitely getting the malic acid notes in this wine, the Asian pear, green apple notes. This is barrel fermented and barrel aged at 100% French oak, but only 15% of that is in new oak. So we're trying to make this a very fresh, fruit-forward style Chardonnay, not your old school, heavy oaked, buttery style Chardonnay. We're trying to make this very fresh and fruit forward and very versatile with food. So, like I said, aromatically, I get those a little bit of the oak note, but it's definitely in balance with the rest of this wine. I definitely get that apple and pear note on this. Once you give a good sniff or a good swirl and sniff, go ahead and taste a little bit. Especially with this first wine, that first sip, cleanse your palate a little bit, and then get after it with another sip. So in the palate, you definitely get that good acidity from the malic acid. We really don't let this wine get through any malolactic fermentation, where that bright malic acid would get changed to that creamy, buttery style of acid. And that helps further emphasize this really fruit-forward, fresh approach to this Chardonnay. And this spends about 8 months in oak. So with that, I want you to go ahead and hit pause on your device, or your phone or iPad or computer, whatever you're watching this on. Give you some time to enjoy the rest of this wine, or give you a minute to think about it before we shift to our second wine in the flight. Welcome back, everybody. So we just finished with our first one in our flight, our 2018 Chardonnay. And wrapping up that one, I would say, they're very versatile with food. I would love it with just triple creme brie myself, but, like a roasted chicken, a grilled pork tenderloin, lobster, would all really work well with that wine. And moving on, our second wine, our 2018 Petit Manseng. Petit Manseng is a variety that's really come on the past 10 years in Virginia to make a very fruit forward. I would say of all of our wines, this is definitely going to be the most fruit forward of our wines. It gets really, really ripe in the vineyard and really retains its acidity really well. So let's go ahead and give this one a sniff. No oak on this, only stainless steel, which really drives that fruit forward in this wine. I always get a lot of pineapple and tropical notes on this wine, and this vintage is no different. Through the years, depending on the quality of the vintage and the ripeness level will change, the amount of residual sugar will vary in this wine. This is one of the drier ones we've had. So let's go ahead and since we give it a sniff and got those pineapple and tropical notes, we'll go ahead and give a sip of this one. And for most of you out there, I feel you'll definitely get a touch of sweetness on this one, but you still get a really big pop of acidity that really cleanses any of that residual sugar off the finish of this wine. This is a great wine, really thirst quenching in this summer heat as we're moving into, as we're launching this flight series. Pairing wise with this, you could do with a lot of your like fruit salads, any kind of fruit dish, fruit tart would be a good pairing with this as we move into the summer. So with that, we'll ask you again to go ahead and hit pause on your video as we transition to our next wine. Hi everybody, and we're going to move on to the third wine of the flight, which is our 2018 Sommet Blanc. Sommet in French means summit. It's just a proprietary name we use for our white wine blend. However, the past few vintages of this wine have been 100% Vidal Blanc and have not had any other varieties blended into it. And this is all stainless, no oak on this wine. The only white wine that of any volume we're making that we're putting in oak is our Chardonnay. So we're just trying to keep these past two wines very bright and crisp and fruit forward and fresh, and putting in oak would just get in the way of that. With this Vidal Blanc, It's very versatile. It can be done as a dessert wine. We've done it as an orange wine here before at Paradise Springs, but we always make it in this off-dry Riesling style, if you will. And this is no different than the Sommies of the past. I would say this is probably maybe a touch drier than the previous vintage, but a little swirl and sniff on this. I'm getting some more apple notes on this one, like a fresh cut apple, like a Gala, Macintosh, something in that range. You get a little bit of apple skin with it too, which is pretty typical for the Vidal Blanc variety. Let's give this a little sip. On the palate, you definitely get a little bit more of that residual sugar, a little bit more than the Petit Manseng previously in the flight. But there's still good acidity in this wine too, that really balances out the higher level of residual sugar. And those apple notes, pear notes definitely translate on the palate of this wine. And some of the floral notes come through also. Pairing on this too, this is another good one that really can work well on its own. A lot of the same things you're going to pair the Petit Manseng with, I would pair this Vidal Blanc with. With dessert, this would work really well with like an apple pie. Some firmer cheeses, this would work well with like a manchego. I think some of the acidity and the apple notes work well with the nutty notes in the manchego. So with that, go ahead and pause your video again as we get ready to move to the next one in our flight. Welcome back. So we've worked through the white side of our flight. Now we're going to shift to the red wine side of our flight. And we're going to start with our first red, Cab Franc, which is the lightest red that we usually make here on the East Coast anyway. And Cab Franc is a major player in Virginia, and it's one of the most planted varieties, and it's no different for us in our vineyards. And we use it as a single varietal. We make more single varietal wine of any other variety with Cab Franc, and we use it in all of our red blends also. So let's go ahead and give a sniff, and you get a lot of that bright cherry notes on this Cab Franc. Not a lot of greenness, not a lot of green pepper. We're really trying to do what we can in the vineyard to mitigate that. We like a riper Cab Franc here. And the barrel treatment on this is lighter with the new oak and the toasting to really push that bright red fruit in this wine forward. So let's go ahead and give it a sip. That structure, but it's very light structure, very soft structure. It's meant to be, it's lighter body, and it's really tailored and meant to be that way, to be more approachable, but it's still, it has some good acidity which will allow it to age well. Food pairing with this, I think any pork dish would really, really work well with this. As like the other white meat, if you will, pork tenderloin, stuffed pork chops would really be good pairings with this because those bright cherry notes really would work well with that. And with that, we'll go ahead and have you to hit pause again, and as we get ready for our next wine in the flight. Alright, on to our next wine. The next wine is our 2017 Melange, 2017 a great vintage. Melange is one of our Bordeaux blends that we do. I know a lot of you are familiar with this and our Meritage, which we've always had those two Bordeaux blends here at Paradise Springs. And we recently added the Moment, which the first couple vintages of that are Bordeaux blends. This of those three is our lightest, more approachable, less one that you're going to want to age and put away and set on. This is meant to be drank within a few years of purchase, something that's just unpretentious, very approachable. It's still well made, well balanced. We don't put quite as much new oak on this wine. That helps it be a little bit more approachable. Aromatically, you get a lot of the different notes. I get a little bit of the floral and pepperiness from Cab Franc and the floralness from Petit Verdot. I get some red fruit from the Cab Franc. Some dark fruit from the Petit Verdot in this also, and this vintage has some Cab Sauv in it also, which really gives just a strong level of fruit across this on the palate. There's ample tannins there, but they're very soft, approachable tannins. They're not real astringent or drying. Good acidity, just it goes in line with my winemaking style, and that's about balance. And I think this one has balance, just to be an easier drinking, medium-bodied red wine that's very versatile with food. This you could have with everything from something on the grill, to a pizza, or something with red sauce, Italian. I think it kind of has that profile of like a Chianti or Sangiovese that kind of fits into that pasta pizza kind of niche for a lot of people out there. So enjoy, and go ahead, and we have one more wine in our flight. We'll ask you to hit pause again, and we'll finish it with that wine. All right, welcome back. So we're gonna finish with our last wine, and this always wraps up our tasting here at Paradise Springs, and this is our 2018 Norton. And Norton, for those who don't know, it's a Native American variety, where the rest of these varieties that we're talking about are French American hybrids or Vitis vinifera French varieties. This is an American indigenous variety. Chrysalis Vineyards is where this fruit's coming from. They have more of this planted than anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world for that matter. It's a different grape, and there's those of you out there that really love and appreciate what this is about. On the nose of this, it's very like jammy, elderberry, darker fruit kind of notes to this wine. Just really jump out of the glasses as fruit forward as a red wine gets for us. Let's go ahead and have a taste. On the palate, you definitely get a lot of spice, and that comes from the American oak that this is done in. This is the only variety in Paradise Springs that we really do an American oak, because it needs it. It's an American variety, and they work well together. The bright acidity makes all of that fruit that you smell jump out of the glass. With this very jammy on the palate. It's got good subtle structure across the whole palate. Food-wise with this, grilled meats, smoked meats, game really well, bison burger, something like that. Cheese-wise, goat cheese, something with some zing and tang that can stand up to the acidity of this wine is kind of what I would lean towards pairing with this. So with that, we hope you, for those who are joining us and scanning to see these videos and the flights, we hope you appreciate it. Stay tuned as these flights change throughout the year. We're definitely going to keep doing these for you to take away and still get some information about the wine. So thank you again, and cheers.